Greetings fellow humans and welcome to the video. I go by Jadeless and this is part 1 of a series where I'll be showing you how to efficiently level up from 1 to 50. We'll be playing the game on normal difficulty without any exploits or glitches, so let's begin. If you want to follow along step by step, I'll be starting in Castaway Beach. If you're not sure where you'd like to start, take a look at my other video on base locations for some recommendations. The first handful of levels are gained very quickly and don't require much explanation. Take your time making your way to your preferred starting zone, picking up everything as you go, and catching as many different pals as you can. Do this until you reach at least level 5, or when it starts getting dark, whichever comes first. Put your first few stat points into stamina, as you'll be doing a lot of running around on foot until we get our first mount. I also like to put 1 or 2 points into weight and work speed to make starting out easier. After that, I recommend splitting between stamina and HP, but don't stress over this too much as there's an item to reset your stat points. The most important thing we want to do in these starting levels is make sure our base is set up to make the most out of our pals. So even if we're just idling, we're gaining XP and not wasting time. For this guide, we're going to be setting up a chickpea farm, but you can do the same with the berry plantation depending on your starting zone and preference. You'll also notice we're taking the time to place all our structures on foundation. Not only does it help keep things neat and organized, but pals have a much easier time performing their tasks in base if the structure they're trying to get to is on a nice flat surface. Once we have our essentials set up at base, craft as many pal spheres as you can before heading back out. I like to craft the bat as well for some extra damage, but as long as you've at least got some cloth armor and a bow or spear, you should be fine. The goal at this point is catching the pals we need to further develop our base, as well as picking up all the extra chests, leaf monk effigies, and pal spheres we find along the way. For us, that means snagging as many chickpeas as we can find, and a couple extra fire types to help cook. Keep at this until you hit at least level 10. The reason we want to head back to base around level 10 is that we can now craft the 3-shot bow. It's a huge upgrade from the bat, and we'll be using it for a while. In addition to the bow, skip the normal glider and craft some celery gloves. If you haven't crafted them before, you'll immediately recognize how much better they are. We'll also want to craft our first saddle. A dire howl saddle is ideal, but rushor or melpaca will suffice if for some reason you haven't come across a dire howl yet. We're also going to take this time to build up our base to level 8. It's important to note that only 4 pals can graze on the farm at a time, so go ahead and build another one. Also remember to have at least 1 fire pal cooking, so we're still generating passive XP. Again, you'll notice I'm placing everything on foundation. This is optional, but I've noticed my pals don't get stuck nearly as often, and are able to move about the base more efficiently. You should be around level 12 now, just from gathering resources and crafting what we need for our base upgrades. Now's the time to restock on pal spheres, arrows, and head back out. Bring any fire type to easily deal with the nearby alpha Gumoss and easily get our first ancient technology point. From here, head up to the nearby syndicate camp, clear it out, and rescue whatever pal is captured. You'll also notice a dungeon right behind it, so let's clear that as well. Dungeons are great not only for XP, but resources as well. You'll find multiple giant Paldium nodes, as well as iron, so be sure to farm as much as you can carry. Depending on whether you clear each room or rush straight for the boss, the dungeon shouldn't take you more than 10 to 15 minutes. For reference, I cleared the one you're seeing now in about 8 minutes, gained around 1700 XP, and over 100 Paldium ore, so dungeons are definitely worth your time. You should be level 14 or so at this point, but you may already be higher depending on how many pals you've been catching along the way. Our goal for this first video is 15, so if you need a bit more XP, go ahead and clear the dungeon just across the river. Even if you don't need the XP, remember they're also a great source of Paldium and iron. Either way, our next stop is the Alpha Sweepa nearby. He shouldn't be much of a problem, but be careful to dodge his ice attacks as they have a chance to freeze you. Don't forget to grab the Leaf Monk effigy from this area as well. You should definitely be at least level 15 by now, which means we're coming towards the end of this first episode. Before that though, you should have a decent stockpile of fried eggs or berries. Don't forget to grab those and sell them to the wandering merchant for a nice profit. That's going to just about wrap up the first episode of the series. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Let me know in the comments if there is a topic that I missed or should include next time. Please give this video a thumbs up if you're looking forward to the next episode, and if you feel so inclined, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next we meet, fare thee well.